Now I'm going to tell you something that might feel a little unsettling. Some of the most perceptive and intelligent people today are not the ones who learned it from books or universities. Their ability to sense, anticipate, and understand people was formed differently, slowly, painfully, through experience. Just like scars form on the body, their way of thinking developed because it had to. And at the same time, they were often told that they were just too anxious, too sensitive, or too emotional. But if you've ever noticed that your mind works differently, that you're constantly scanning your surroundings, that you seem to be a few steps ahead in conversations, this might be about you. And what we're about to talk about may, for the first time, explain why. The first sign: you read people with an accuracy that can sometimes feel unsettling. This isn't just observation, it's something deeper. Someone walks into a room, and before they even say a word, you already feel something. Micro-expressions, tension in the face, shifts in posture, even when others don't notice. And most of the time, you're right. Not always, but often enough that it starts to feel unsettling, both for you and for others. This isn't magic, it's adaptation. When a child grows up in an emotionally unstable environment, for example, with parents whose moods change unpredictably, the brain learns to survive. It becomes hypersensitive to signals. Psychologists call this hypervigilance. And the problem is, it doesn't turn off. It stays with you in every room, every conversation, every day. The second sign: you feel first and only then understand. You knew a relationship had changed before there were any facts. You felt that something was wrong before you could explain it. And when you tried to describe it, the words just weren't there. Because it was felt, not formulated. There's a reason for that. Traumatic experience is processed by the brain differently. It's stored not only in memory, but in the body. That's why you feel before you can explain. This isn't irrational, it's a different kind of knowing. The third sign: you're comfortable with complexity and contradiction. Most people look for simple answers. They need someone to blame. They need clear explanations. But you learned early on that the world doesn't work that way. That a person can love and hurt at the same time. That opposite things can both be true. This isn't cynicism, it's experience. When reality is complex, the mind learns to hold that complexity. A depth of thinking forms that doesn't develop in simpler conditions. The fourth sign: your empathy can overwhelm you. Not surface-level social empathy, but the kind you feel in your body, when someone else's pain moves through you, when you can't always tell where your emotions end and someone else's begin. This is called emotional contagion, and in people with this kind of experience, it's more intense. But it comes with a cost. You may see threats where there are none, feel tension in neutral situations, and take responsibility for things that aren't yours. Constant scanning is exhausting, and it's important to acknowledge that. The fifth sign: you may sabotage good things when they're close. When things start to come together, relationships, opportunities, life, something inside you steps back. You pull away, create conflict, leave first. Because somewhere deep down, there's a belief: it will end anyway. This is tied to the brain getting used to a certain level of tension, and calm starts to feel suspicious, not safe, but dangerous. The sixth sign: you constantly search for meaning. Why did this happen? Why did I react this way? What does it mean? This process is almost impossible to stop. It comes from a mind that once tried to make sense of chaos, and there's strength in that. Psychologists call it post-traumatic growth, when depth of thinking and inner life develop through difficulty. Viktor Frankl wrote that a person who searches for meaning in suffering is changed forever. And your mind has become that kind of mind, a searching one. The seventh sign: you understand yourself very well. But that doesn't always lead to change. You know your patterns, you can explain them, analyze them, and still repeat them. And that creates an inner conflict. Because awareness is not the same as change. Real change happens through new experiences, through repetition, through the body gradually learning a different way. And that takes time. But it doesn't mean there's something wrong with you. It means you've been handling something very difficult for a long time. And maybe now you're starting to understand that. And if any of this felt familiar, it's important to remember. Awareness is only the beginning. Change is the next step. And it is possible.